and welcome you guys to successfully market your virtual events, or may it be a webinar or whatever you've got going on. My name is Kristina Curry. I'm the founder and CEO of Sprout Creative. We do have closed captions turned on. So at the bottom, if you see the CC, you can click that. And you can move that text box around if it gets in the way of anything. And I see that Melissa is here, and I'm so happy because I have a little shout out to Melissa. And so I'm going to dive into that real quick before we get started, because she has been a force to be reckoned with for me. A huge shout out. She is the founder of Creative Successful Entrepreneurs, and she's been an integral piece to my own company growth. I kind of stumbled upon her coaching company by accident in a way, but maybe it was the universe just sort of helping me out, knowing that I needed her in that moment. I had no clue how to build a company, where to start, how to charge people, how to talk to people. I mean, everything that you have to do when you're starting a company, all the things. And CSC literally got me on track and gave me all the tools and was there to guide me through all the steps. And I can say, honestly, with 100% certainty, I would not be where I'm at today without Melissa and her team. And the reason I'm gushing so much about Melissa is right now, she's actually, this masterclass that I'm doing is part of her efforts gathering experts to offer up deeper dives into what they do best and these trainings to our clients. And she's graciously allowed me to open it up to my audience and to a wider audience. So I want to say thank you, Melissa. I really appreciate it. And I don't know if you want to pop on.
Oh yeah, no, I do want to say, just Kristina, you are a rock star client. You have done so well, and we have benefited greatly from your expertise and your knowledge. It's been so fun to help you build all of that wild knowledge into an organized business, and to watch you grow. And it is a pleasure to be here providing to our clients this space. And then we also like to support our associate coaches. Kristina is one of them, and our clients, when it's a kind of a leveraged environment that we are always looking to help our clients get out there, help our customers meet the people that are best for them. And when we can find that inside of our community, we really want to do that. So it's been such a nice thing to be part of that. And for you, all of you clients out there, as Kristina moves along, there are lots of different people here on this call and will be, but for our clients there, Kristina will have some extra special time for you in addition to this training. So just know that you should go through your portal to find that additional access and those features on your programming. And we can't wait for this training. I'm actually here to be here as long as I can, Kristina, because I always learn every time I listen. So I'm really grateful for that. And thanks for that nice shout out too. That's fantastic. We love you.
Yay, perfect. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pop a link. You should have gotten in your email, but I want to make sure everyone is heading to that link to download any resources and templates and all the things that we've got covered. I've got so much to go over, and I want to make sure you have all the resources right there in front of you. So that is the link to download each and every component that we're going to move through today. Speaking of components that we're going to move through today, you're going to learn a lot, but to kind of zero in on it, we're breaking it down kind of into some big buckets. So first of all, I'm going to cover event title and some rules around how to build out a really good event title that pulls people in. And then I'm going to provide you with a marketing calendar. This is an event marketing calendar of when you need to be posting, when you need to be emailing, and all those things that everyone wants to know when to do. We've got that for you. And I'm going to break it down week by week. And then I want to also, is my slides not moving? What is happening? Here, let me stop sharing, and then I'll pop it back up. Because for me, it looks like it's moving for you guys. How's that? Do you see today you will learn? Okay, good, cool. Wow, I'm having all the weird technical issues today. Is it Mercury in retrograde? I don't know. Okay. So we're also going to cover writing emails and social media posts, basically the sort of approach to that. So it's not just sell, sell, sell. I'm gonna offer kind of a template on how to break that down and do a little bit of nurture and sell. So people are more likely to sign up for your event. And then I want to cover I call them power words, and it's really some call to actions that you can use to really get someone to pull that trigger, get them to sign up for your event, get them to attend your event. And these can be really helpful to infuse in your language in order to get people to react and feel, I don't want to say pressured, but feel like, okay, I gotta get in on this, or I'm gonna miss out, sort of that FOMO feeling. And I want to take a second here because we've got 2 hours together, you guys. It's a long time, but it's also probably going to move very quickly. So I want you to pause, recognize that you signed up and you actually showed up to a 2-hour event. That's normally people have about 30 minutes time frame and then they're out. So take this time to reinvest in yourself. You are here, put your phone away, be present, ask questions, and get out of it what you need to get out of it. Because I'm here right in front of you. We've got this. Okay. So why are you even here? You don't know maybe what promotional emails you should have, and what kind of content you should be maybe sending out. Maybe you're just not sure how many social media posts you should be posting, when to post them, on what channels to post them. Maybe you're wondering when you need to start marketing for your event based on when your event is. Maybe there's other questions that you have. Maybe these don't cover the questions. Whatever it is, you're in the right place. This is it. I'm going to answer those questions and we're going to get you to a better place and how to market for your event. So just a little bit about me. I'm founder and owner of Sprout Creative. We work with entrepreneurs, business owners who they're just trying to run their business and they're feeling overwhelmed with marketing and their growth has maybe plateaued, and we turn their marketing into a manageable, automated, stress-free machine. I started this company in the summer of 2019. I had over 10 years of working for corporations and I was running their marketing departments, but that was one company I was helping. And I saw all these amazing business owners around me that had such cool gifts. They were doing such cool things. And I really wanted to help them with their marketing because that was a thing that I saw them struggling with. And I jumped ship. I left corporate. I launched my own company. And honestly, I have not looked back. It's been unreal journey. I love it. It was really scary. I'm going to be honest. It was very, very scary to take that leap. But I knew better things were waiting for me on the other end. And I'm sure all you guys have experienced that scary moment where you kind of hold your breath and you do the thing. But taking chances, I think, is part of part of life. And it's really hard, but it's always rewarding on the other end. So are you ready? Let's dive in. I'm going to cover event title first. This is really, in some form or fashion, this is almost the hardest thing to do when you're building out an event. It can be such a struggle. And I think it's because we have to really explain what our event is in such few words that can be such a challenge. And oftentimes the event title is that first impression that people are getting of your event. So a name can give people that vibe of what your event might be and what your company might be about. It can also sell people into the event. So it can really do the heavy lifting for you and work for you. Or it can cause people to just kind of keep scrolling through. So it also can provide an attendee an idea of what they can expect to gain from attending your event, or what problem you're solving, or what benefit they're gonna get. But really, to get these attendees to sign up and get them into those virtual seats, you need to come up with a great name that really can grab attention and kind of pique interest, right? So an event name that's the right kind of name can really solidify your event and kind of your event brand. It can convey your mission, and it can help potential attendees, maybe new or old, find you and discover you. And there is a lot of lookalike event names out there that are happening. So it's really good to try and have that sticky event name that's easy to remember and it's more appealing than your competitor names. So to help kind of, that might have been a very esoteric way of describing event titles. So let's break it down, and I'm going to give you some rules to follow. Now, rules are definitely made to be broken. You can always break them, but let's just start here and kind of get some guidelines to help you gain some focus in on what your event title could be. So I'm going to run through 4 rules to keep in mind as you're writing out these titles. So number 1, the 3-second rule. I mean, we're scrolling, no one's paying attention very much to anything. And so you want your event name to be pretty direct right away and to the point, simple. Don't get very elaborate or fancy with it. Our attention span is just so tight. So we want to squeeze in a title that can be scanned in 3 seconds and trigger someone to boop, click into that link. Now, ellipses, the second bullet point. This is, most people are going to probably find your event online if you're an online, virtual event, if you're running a virtual event. So it's really important to play into the rules of the internet. And one of those rules is that search results only display 65 characters, I think it is, before you get cut off with that ellipses. So keep that in mind as you're doing it, and not have too many filler words in the beginning that take up that very, high price 65 character section. If your event title is longer than that 65 characters, and that includes spaces, I believe, people might not read the entire event. So you don't want to, you don't want to fill it with filler words. You almost want to leave them hanging so they want to click into it to keep reading more about what that event might be. And really a good length to aim for your event titles between 3 and 6 words. So you want to kind of keep it around that, and, not like really, really long words, like super fragilistic, expialidocious. So keep it reasonable and simple, using very, high ticket words or high priced words is not going to be helpful, because people are just scanning. If it's a bunch of long, big words, they're just not going to pay attention. It's as simple as that. You can always elaborate then on what your event is, of course, in the event description. So if it's important to you to include some of those things, have it either in the tagline or in the event description. Okay, so number 2, a great title can be the difference between selling or, scrambling to get people into your event. But it's such a limited real estate. We really need to choose impactful words. So think about your ideal attendee, and this can be so key. You really want to consider what words might invoke an emotion out of them, either a pain or a problem that they're experiencing, or it could be something positive, like excitement or joy, or curiosity is a really good one. And that can leave your, event title to become a deeper impact on people who see it. And on the flip side, if your words, lean into the ideal attendee and they're not maybe positive, this still can really pull them in and help them connect to what the event's going to be about and what you can help teach them and what kind of transformation that you can help guide them to. So be sure to use words that they would actually use themselves. When you use maybe industry jargon or words that maybe you use, but your clients or your attendees aren't, this can kind of leave people out. And, those acronyms and jargon could, you could argue are very much in line with your ideal attendee, but there might be people that would be very interested in your event that aren't really up on the lingo. And therefore, it's going to cut them out. They're going to keep scrolling. They're not going to be interested at all. But be creative in your title, but don't get too in the weeds about it, right? By nature, everyone's events are very individualized. And so just lean into that individual component that you offer for your event. There is definitely some defining attributes that you have that can set you apart. So pull those pieces out to share with your audience. And once you find, that unique attribute, it's going to naturally set yourself out from the crowd. But really, when you're first starting out, don't try to be punny or play on words, because if somebody has to stop and think, the confusion is gonna break them and cause them to not pay attention. When psychologically, when people are feeling like they're maybe being tricked or there's some confusion or something's not lining up right away, people instinctually their trust gets broken. So if they have to stumble through your title, you're losing that know, like, and trust that you're trying to build with potential clients. Okay, so let's head to number 3. Who is your event for? Who is that target? So potential attendees should read it, know it's for them. And that's why I say use their words, because like we all like to hear our name said to us, right? It perks us up, it pulls us in instantly. It's sort of the same thing. If you're using words that they use, they're gonna instinctually fall into it and want to be a part of it. And for example, you can, I found this one event, it's called Teens Who Tech. And it's so short. It's only 3 words, right? It's that minimum that I said of how many words to have, but it defines exactly the market, teens and who tech. It can't get any more specific than that. And so it gives the readers an immediate understanding of exactly what they're getting into and who it's for. Okay, so the 4th one is SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. So when you enter a search through a search engine like Google or YouTube, it brings back results. So the results at the top of the page are the most SEO friendly. And in terms of events, the way you can kind of do this is in Eventbrite. Actually, I do this a lot as sort of a tip for you. I'll go into Eventbrite and sort of type in working titles that I have and see what comes up, or working titles that I might want to use or maybe not want to use at all. And I'm just trying to get ideas on what's out there. So, if I'm searching for, I don't know, teens who tech, if I'm like, I'm a teen and I want to learn coding, I'm going to be like coding for teens and see what comes up. And if it's just generic things, but then there's one that says coding for teens who want to build an app. Okay, well, that's super specific. And that might I might want to get pulled into that. So it's really helpful to see what other titles people are doing out there on Eventbrite and see what your search for, if I'm doing a social media webinar, I can type in social media and see what it is people are using, what kind of titles, and that can help you to separate yourself out of maybe a list of generic titles. So I'm going to show some examples. I love examples. They help me figure things out. So I'm going to pause it for a second. I literally just typed in yoga into Eventbrite. And up pops, like the first one is chair yoga. And, if you've done chair yoga before, chair yoga is for you. So this probably will pull you in. The second one, yin yoga and yoga nidra, I would argue is a little kind of jargon, yoga jargon. I know what nidra is, but probably not a lot of people know. And I only know because I have a friend who is a yoga instructor. So that's the only reason I know. I would argue other people probably don't know what that is. I would elaborate on exactly what kind of yoga instead of using those sort of jargon. And, lunchtime yoga, what does that mean? Am I going to get sweaty and I have to shower after lunch? Like, is there enough time to, do yoga, shower, get back to work? Or is it like a calming yoga where I can be zen and come back to work refreshed? I would argue that that's a little too broad and a little too obscure, and I might be afraid to click on that. Yoga from your desk. Okay, that seems like, yeah, I could just do it on my lunch break and not get too sweaty and be able to jump into a Zoom class or something like that. And the restorative yoga for grief and loss, I think, is a really good piece. I would even say, they could say for beginners or intermediate if they have different levels. But I think that's a really good way of pulling in a very specific person. And virtual yoga for everyone. I would not include your name in the title. There's no point, if they click into the event, unless your name is Oprah, the title with your name in it isn't going to pull people in. So it's more important to squeeze in exactly what your event is versus your name, because once they click in, you have a chance to give them your bio and talk about who you are and why you should lead this virtual yoga for everyone. So I would definitely lean away from names in the title. And another kind of tip that I want to point out, actually, totally on a tangent, but this naturist yoga with Nikki. Okay, so if you look at the picture, they're all naked. I know nothing's showing, but it's very much alluded to them being naked. So I guess this is naked yoga. I say this because when an image matches your title or your event, it's that synchronicity really makes people's brains happy and can be very, very helpful in people visually showing what your event is if you need to enhance it in any way. And it also it helps build that know, like, and trust factor. If they're reading something and they see an image that is very much connected to the title, people trust you more and feel more pulled in. So yeah, so good job, Nikki, with a very appropriate photo for your yoga. Okay, we'll move on from that. I think you guys get the idea, but I want to leave you with, 3 just general questions to keep in mind as you write your title. What's your event about? What problem is your event solving? And who is this event for? And a final tip is, this is my personal approach. You, of course, don't have to do it, but I've always found it a lot easier to write my title after I've written out my event and event description. Because as you write your event description, you begin to lay out what your ideal attendees' problems are and the solutions that you're helping them with. So buzzwords just instinctually start to come out. And those buzzwords are what you can take to begin to build your title. So you can kind of pick and choose what are the key main topics that you want to pick and put into your title from your event description. Now, event description is a whole other beast on its own. We don't have time to cover it in this masterclass today, but I will talk about an opportunity where you can learn more about writing out your event description and also actually how to find your ideal attendees and interviewing them. Because when you interview them, you actually get those words that they use that then you can turn around and use in marketing. So I'll talk more about that later. And do we have any questions yet? I'm closing out the event title chapter and I want to make sure, did everyone get questions answered or did anyone need anything before I head into the marketing calendar, which is a big one. This is gold right here. And we're about to get into it. So, okay. This is also in that landing page. And I'm telling you, I would print out, if you don't print anything today, I would print out the first 2 pages because I use them over and over. I have them usually printed out somewhere around my desk because it's so valuable to be able to just know when you are posting that post, sharing that email, emailing, your list, all the things. So buckle up. We're getting into it. This is a beast. So this is what it looks like, the first page, just in case you're not sure if you downloaded the right thing. And let's zoom in on it. And it is basically a month shot. So I have the event day right down there. It says week 5. And the trick to marketing before your event is to back into your date. So you want to have your date set, and then you want to start writing out and backing into it of when you're going to actually begin. So I've broken these out week by week to help it feel a little more approachable. And the calendar is left blank because you want to kind of fill in your dates, or you can jot it down on another piece of paper. This shows Tuesday. You can move that date around and things just kind of shift, and you can have it as a Wednesday or a Thursday. I do not recommend events on Friday or Monday. Tuesday can be a little, Tuesday is starting to be the new Monday. So it seems like people are now shifting more into Wednesday, Thursday events. So the key on the left, I'm going to explain what this means. The turquoise color is your events to do. And this is sort of your back end operational components. And it's not any forward facing. This is just what you need to do internally each week. And of course, there's probably more things, but I want to make sure that you get a few key components. And then the sort of mint green color is the email marketing. So email marketing is sending emails out to your list who have not signed up for your email. So this is promotional efforts. This is sending it out to non-attendees. Skipping down to the pink one, email nurturing. This is an email sequence that you're sending out to people who have already registered for your event. So there's 2 different email tracks that we're going to talk about. The promo one to non-attendees and the nurture one to attendees. And then the blue is social media. So it's all the promotional social media that you're going to be putting out there. And then the yellow one, the personal touch, this is you actually personally reaching out to people you think would be really great for your event in a very personal way. It could be slipping into their DMs, emailing them, texting them, giving them an old-fashioned call on the phone. And this is you personally one-on-one touching someone else and saying, I think you should register for this event. I think you'd be great for this event. And it could also be, I think, this is an event that you should share with your audience because I think they would like it too. So this is a little more work usually, but because it is a one-on-one instead of one-to-many, but it yields a way bigger return than, your one-to-many. Usually it does. So the second page of the calendar, again, that Tuesday was your event, is always do a follow-up. The event happens and you always want to say thank you, or send that replay, or share that link that you did, or get that promotion or that promo within 48 hours, whatever it is. You want to be sure to email your audience even after the event is over. Okay, so I'm going to dive in a little more deeper just to kind of walk you guys through it. So take notes, pay attention. We're going to zero in now on week to week because each week is a little bit different. So week 1, and again, you've calculated your date, you've backed into it. So this is before your event has started. This is your prep week. This is your getting your ducks in a row. It's all about organizing yourself. So when you are ready to launch your event, you have a strong foundation that you have already prepared. So this is you nailing down and getting that event description and title. This is you choosing your ticketing platform where you're putting this on and starting to build that out, whether it be Eventbrite or your website or something else. And then you want to start getting your email marketing prep going. Remember that color is promotional. So you want to start getting an idea of what you want to say in your emails. And I will actually be giving you some templates later on to help get you going and help kickstart that. And the same thing with social media too. So stay tuned for that. And then email nurturing prep. And of course, setting your goals. You've got to set some goals, because if you don't have goals, you don't know where you're heading to, and you're just sort of willy-nilly running around. So those are sort of your key things. I'm sure there's so much more you can add to this, but this is a good kicking off start. And then in week 2, you're launching your event. You are putting it out there. You've clicked, go live on Eventbrite to share your event. This is it. So then email marketing, you want to deploy your email, share that you've got this event going on. Of course, social media, you want to talk about the event, be helpful and informative about, the content that your event's going to have. And then you want to start engaging with your network and start talking to those people that you know would benefit from the event. So you want to start to connect with people and network. And if you've ever been to one of Sarah's, who's on this call, classes about networking, you know the value in that. And I'll actually touch more on how you can deepen your understanding of networking at a later opportunity with Sarah, the one and only. And then we have email marketing, which is I have deploy and ongoing. So this is your welcome email. So if someone signs up, they're automatically getting a welcome, you're in, and so excited to have you. And here's all the information. So you want to have that set up, because if you launch your event and someone signed up right away and they didn't get a welcome email, that's kind of a miss. So you want to be sure that's already ready to go and set up. And then start checking your goals, revisiting those goals, seeing where you might be at. Okay, so then week 3, we're really starting to gain steam. We've got to start focusing on promoting and talking and inviting people into the event. And this is where you want to start kicking your efforts into high gear. When you visit your goals, you want to start seeing some movement in those goals. And, we'll cover right here. It says problem solution email. I'm going to cover what that means when we talk about email here later in the presentation. But so you want to start deploying those promo emails, those promotional emails. And again, with social media too, and continue to reach out to your network and connect with people. And then a nurture email. So you want to send out that nurture email and just let them know, hey, don't forget you registered for this event. Here's a little helpful tip. And also, I'm excited to see you. All right. So week 4 is where we want to start infusing power words. That is a document also in the landing page that you can see. And the power words, that is not an exhaustive list. We'll touch on this in a bit, but those are words that can really infuse a sense of urgency into your audience to help push them over the edge and help get them into your event. And it's kind of the same checklist as week 3, but we're really pushing people to register for that event and kind of infusing those power words into your messaging. And then week 5 is showtime. So I've broken down, you want to send out how often you want to remind people and talk to them and get them into your event. And I often get a lot of pushback. I'm going to pause here for a second, because it's clients, and let me know if this is something you're probably thinking right now. This feels like a lot, like you're communicating a lot about something to your audience, and they might feel like a weekly email is too much, or, 3 posts are too much or something. And it might feel like a lot. And I got to tell you, and I say it on most of my webinars that I do, it's a marketing rule of 7. And someone has to see something 7 times before they make an action, before they buy your ticket, get into your event, and sign up and register. And if you think about it, how many times have you sort of thought about something and seen it a few times here and there, and then you finally do it? And it's just a subconscious thing that I don't know, we have in our brains, the way our brains work and as humans, but it feels as though you might be saying things a lot, but nobody's paying attention to you as much as you think they are. And truly, they might see that post and see that email one week, but they might miss it the following week. So if you do it again the next week, they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I saw an email and a post last week. I should sign up for that. That sounds like something I want to do. So it's really one of those things that, let that go. Is really, I'm giving you permission to let that go. You're not oversharing. You're not giving them too much. It's truly that repetitiveness that is what's going to bring people in to what you've got going on. And again, I'm going to show you some templates. So it's not like you're saying the same thing over and over again. You're offering up some stuff and offering up a chance to learn more. So we'll get into that. And then week 6 is those thank you emails that you're sending out. Maybe it's a limited time offer that you want to share, or, if you're getting out the replay, that is also possible. Send that out. But this is really such an important piece of your event, is you really want to let them know, thank you. And here's all the resources and things we talked about. So I'm going to pause for a second because I want to take a volunteer. This is a workshop after all. And I want to build out your marketing calendar with some actual dates. So we can kind of see live how it works. It can be a little daunting at times. I've walked clients through this before, and I just want to make sure that, you understand how we can back into those dates and start to market your event. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so I can see everyone. And if anyone has an event that they have coming in, an actual event, like let's work out the dates and back into it so you can start to pinpoint when it is you want to, or when it is you need to start marketing that event. So any volunteers? Or do I have to pick someone? I'm just kidding. Oh, all right. We have April, even though, why is everyone named Kristina? It's so weird. I don't understand. It's the weirdest tech issue ever. I've never come across that in my entire life. Like, who could have seen that happening? Oh my gosh. Everyone wants to be me today, I guess. Yep. That is a tech problem I would never have foreseen ever happening. So, okay, April, who I know is April, why don't you come off mute? Let me know what event you've got going on when you've got it. And I'm going to bring up the calendar so we can kind of back into it. I might have to share my screen again.
I do regular events quite often, so I was very excited about this workshop. But I have one that will be probably the 26th of June.
Okay. Let's see. I got to write stuff down. I'm like a pen and paper kind of lady. Okay. 26th of June, you said.
Oh, wait. 25th.
25th.
Yes. Sorry. 25th.
Yeah, not a problem. So it's a Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Saturday, June 25th. Okay, cool. And I'm going to let me share my screen so we can kind of look at the calendar together and back into it. Let me ask you, so this calendar is really good for, like a 1 hour, maybe 2, a couple hour event, not for if you're doing like a 3-day event. You want to give yourself a little bit more of a runway to market it. So let me check in with you. And how long is this event for?
It'll be an hour to an hour and a half, depending on your
perfect. Okay. So yeah, this calendar then will work really well for you. Okay, so we're gonna shift the event day and imagine that it's on that Saturday. And so we know that the day before is a Friday. Let me ask you, does your audience, are they receptive to emails and you are like posting on Fridays? Because typically Fridays, people are kind of checked out and they're already thinking about their weekend plans and they're not really paying attention as much to social media and email on Friday. So is your audience a little more like, I'll pay attention on Fridays?
Actually, I do get, when I send a Friday email out, I will get a few last minute signups.
Okay, cool. So I think you're unique where it's not really, it's pleasure, right? You're offering up a really fun time. So they're receptive to hearing from you. It's not like you're an accountant saying, here's an accounting tip on a Friday. No one's going to open that, but they will open for you because you are providing kind of an entertainment thing. So I would say Friday, the 24th, right, is backing into it. You're going to, let me head over to our detailed thing, is you want to send a 1 hour prior to it starting, a 1 day. So, sorry, the 25th is when you'll send a 1 hour reminder.
Mm-hmm.
The 24th, you're going to send a 1 day reminder.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to want to post as well, a final, social media post. So Friday, really, if you think about it, you're sending one last email and one last social media post.
Okay.
And then going back to the calendar, because we've left the weekends off here, because this is a little, it can be B2B. So I would say another email actually for a 2-day reminder. So the 23rd,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to send a 2-day reminder. And then moving into it, I would say a final, so that's Friday. I'm trying to count back on my days. Calendars can be really hard. Yeah, so Thursday, the 23rd is your second email, or 2-day reminder.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday, you have Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. I would say because it's coming up that weekend, you should be posting 3 times that week. So you can post final reminder on Friday, again on Wednesday, and on Tuesday. And you could probably even push it to 4 posts that week.
Mm-hmm.
And let me pause there for a second. When I say posts, that doesn't mean that you're just doing like a static image post. You can vary it up and do a video, you can go live, you can post a reel, a story. So it does all these dots on here doesn't mean just a static image post about your event. It could be any touching point on social media that you're comfortable doing that's in your repertoire. It could be that. So let's say you're posting 4 times that week of the 5th week. You can do a go live and say, here's what I'm doing. This is really exciting. Can't wait to see you this weekend. And then you can post a picture or a carousel. Carousels, by the way, are doing really good for some reason. Instagram changed their algorithm. Sometimes they're doing better than videos. Who knew? And then you could do, a video post and then another static image if you want. So then moving up to week 4, I would say definitely having another email deploy. So you're basically going to send an email promoting this each week on, I would say probably Thursday would be a really good day for you to keep pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So each Thursday, you're going to need to send out 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need 4 total emails to promote this event. And you're going to send them out each Thursday to promote.
Okay.
And then each week, I would say probably, you're going to do 4 posts week 5, 3 week 4. You could do 3 week 3, 2 week 2. So 2, 3, 3, 4. How, make sure you use your capacity and what you've got, room in your schedule to do. And then the personal touches, for sure, for you, I'm sure you've got people in your mind that would be really, really wonderful for that event. And so this is a great opportunity for you each week. Have maybe 5 people you're going to reach out to. And you're like, every Wednesday, I'm going to reach out to 5 people and I'm going to connect with them and tell them about this event.
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
That can that be reaching out to like other accounts or organizations that might have audiences that dovetail with your event, as well as like individual people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing to note, when you do connect with someone or a company or a group or, an influencer, be sure to include all the details right away. Don't make them ask for, okay, well, when is it then? Or how do I sign up? This has happened way too many times. Make sure you give them the name, the date, and the time. And here's the direct link on how to register, or here's the link on what to share with your audience. Just, give them all that information right away, because if someone has to ask questions and hunt and peck for it, they're going to lose interest, and that's not what you want. And, there's a whole affiliate approach that you could do. That's for another webinar, another time, but really connecting, having your schedule just so when you're connecting and how many people you're connecting to is going to really help you actually follow through and do that connection. And I think it's really smart to reach out to an audience who would be or reach out to someone who has an audience that is in line with your event. It's so smart to double, triple, quadruple your reach for your event. And so many people are just willing to do that. People are really nice about that and really open to being giving in that way. And so it's always worth asking, and you can do it really casual. Don't be afraid to just direct message people or also, shoot them an email or pick up the phone and call them. When I personally invite people to the events, there's something about it where they feel really good that someone thought of them, and also that they thought they would benefit from it, that they instinctually just want to join, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you have some time to start preparing.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to jump into a client I had, just kind of as an example, so you guys can understand a little bit. She's an accessibility instructor, accessibility yoga instructor, and she came to me. She didn't have a website. She was capturing emails by putting them in a spreadsheet and didn't really know what to do after that. And I'm sure we've all been there. I definitely was there in the very, very beginning. And her social media strategy, she actually didn't have one because she actually hated social media. Who can relate to that? And she just really felt like she didn't want to sell herself on social media. She didn't want to talk about her classes because it felt icky. It felt like, she's just sell, and it didn't feel right. And she's a heart-based kind of person and business owner. So it felt wrong for her. And so basically the bottom line is she didn't have a lot of the things set up, but she did want to fill her events, and her events were monthly. So her goal was book more people into her virtual events and build an audience so she could have an audience to talk to when she moved to in-person classes. And, 1, 2, and 3 were all kind of the problems that she was having. So we got kind of a plan in place. You could see she was on a 3-month fast action marketing coaching program. It was real quick, but we got her in and we started with the most important page first, which is what's going to bring her in money, right? So we got classes and workshops, number 1 page just built out, which is something super simple. So she could get that money and also have a list of when the classes were. And then we set up an email capture to collect those addresses. So whoever was interested in those classes, we now are able to email them. Originally, she was emailing people through Gmail. Please don't do that. You can get your Gmail shut down for doing that. So we got her set up on an actual platform, and now she's able to directly talk to that audience about the special classes that she had coming up. And we determined that she had the capacity to post 3 times a week. And so we selected 3 main buckets for her to share: education, inspiration, and journal prompts. And this really leaned into her heart. She wanted to inspire, she wanted to educate about accessibility in yoga, and then also journal prompts. It was a big piece of her sort of her drive. And we took those 3 components: education, inspiration, journal prompts. We started to infuse that into her email marketing efforts and her social media. So then when she was ready to promote, those slipped in between all these other nurturing things that she did. And she actually began to, well, first of all, she launched her website shortly after the 3 months we worked together. Her email marketing, she began to actually be okay with sending emails because she had journal prompts to share and she had inspirational quotes she wanted to talk to her audience about. And so she was consistently actually sending these emails out. And on top of it, she ended up, I mean, I think this is the biggest one. Yes, attendance went up 27% when I followed back up with her. But I think the biggest one for me was she actually started liking social media, because she didn't feel like she was just selling when she had something to sell. She had a plan. She knew each week she was going to share those 3 pieces, and then whatever extra, as in selling into her classes, just kind of fit into the fold. And so she started to build a community and finding people who needed her type of yoga. And it was, her posts were coming from a very authentic, consistent place. And she was sharing what was on her heart. And it was really connecting her to people that gravitated into that world too. So it was, it worked really well for her. So, okay. Jumping into email marketing. Is everyone on email? Like, let me know in chat if you're like, I'm not really doing email, or I think I should be doing email, but it can be a piece that a lot of people forget about, or it's easy to ignore, right? Because it's not like social media where you're getting notifications and people are in your face about it. Email marketing is a list that's easy to forget. And I've definitely slipped into that. I'm so busy, I don't have time to send an email kind of situation. But it's not dead, and it's so important because we're able to connect directly with our ideal attendees. We can talk right to them. Instagram can go away tomorrow, or if you're on TikTok, it can go away tomorrow. But email is such a direct way right into your audience's attention. And with the new iOS update, I've been getting this question a lot lately. There's some talk and chatter that the Apple update of privacy doesn't allow emails to be delivered into an inbox as much. And that is true. There are ways of avoiding that. It's only true if people are using actually the Apple based app for all their emails. But one thing that's been proven to kind of cut through and reach people is when you are offering up a lot of give and a lot of nurture to your audience, and you're creating sort of a conversation through your email. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But I want to emphasize, really treat your list right, and they will continue to open and continue to be receptive to what you have to offer. I have seen it with my clients work where they don't see a drop in unsubscribes and they don't see a drop in open rates when there's a very authentic conversation approach to it. So let's get into it. All right, I'm going to cover, like I said, those 2 separate email marketing lists. We've got the one that is growing your attendee list and getting people into your event. And then we have the one where it's keeping your attendees interested. They've already signed up, but we want to kind of continue to nurture them and pay attention to them. So let me cover the tactics to use to kind of nurture and sell your audience who haven't signed up yet. There's a worksheet as well. So if you want to follow along, you can get that. But it's called problem solution, really. And you're really solving a problem to your audience in these emails and offering up a solution. So it's impossible to give away the entire, webinar in one little email. If you can do that, that's incredible, but you don't want to do that. We really want to just help them with tiny micro problems or nano problems, however you want to call it, and then solving them again on that micro level. Because there's no way someone's going to have a giant, huge transformation in one email. It's just not going to happen. But we can give them little wins here and there and let them know, hey, if you want a bigger win, we've got it over here at this webinar. So just giving your audience a little taste of what they're going to learn can be really, really helpful. So, these solutions, I'm going to show you some examples, but they can be like offering up a tip or maybe 3 tips or a short video series, 1-minute videos kind of thing. You can offer resource links that you've created or that you found online to be helpful, things like that. So let's get into it. What is the problem solution tactic? And this is something you can use even if you're not even building up to an event. You can just offer this as its own thing, problem solution. And this is a way, again, that you're nurturing someone and you're giving them a little bit, but which is all people have room for in an email anyways. So it takes a problem that your ideal attendee has, and then you offer a solution to that problem. So you make that connection, you make that tiny little transformation that they're experiencing. And for the purpose of this masterclass and the purpose of your event, you want to be sure that the problem they're experiencing has something to do with your event. And you don't want this coming out of left field. It has to connect to your event in some way, or again, it sort of breaks that trust because what you're saying here is different than here. And that can kind of split someone's brain a little and make them disconnect from what you have to say. So let's see an example. I'm an example-y kind of person. And this is also in your workbooks if you want to take notes or anything like that. But so it's a yoga instructor's hosting a 1-hour back strengthening yoga class, right? And the problem is we're all experiencing upper back and shoulder pain because we're all just hunched over our computers all day, which we've all felt that way. So the solution is to try these 2 poses twice a day at your desk to relieve aches and pains. And then you're going to have a tiny event mention, don't forget to join our event to deepen this practice, strengthen your back, and live pain-free. So let's look at what visually this might look like. It's easy to kind of write it down like this, but let's lay it out in an actual email. And again, this is just an idea of how you can do it, but you can certainly lay out your emails to how your brand runs things. And again, the image, if you do use an image, like I said before, make sure that image is related to what you're talking about to continue that sort of synchronicity and help reinforce what your content, what the words are saying. The image should go with the words. So here we're naming the problem, right? This is the number one issue we hear from our clients: working on our computers, hunched over, tense, da 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 da. And we bulleted out a couple of the pains. So someone sort of scanning bullets really help pull out some thoughts that people will automatically see. You can also bold things. That can be really helpful too if they're just scanning. And then we go into naming the solution. So the problem and then the solution. Click below for a 3-minute video on stretches you can do in between calls and emails to get you feeling more loose, less stressed, feeling pain-free, and then watch now. And then the passive event reminder. Don't forget to register for back strengthening yoga class, blah, blah, blah. We've got the way to register. So this is early on when you're just sort of getting into your event and you just want to like tease it out. There's not a lot of urgency in this. There's not a lot of pushing them a little bit more and harder to get into the event. It's more of talking about those problems that they're experiencing and that you have a little bit of solution for them. So what does it look like if we're getting closer to our event, right? And we're like, we need more registrations. So this is this is more like week 3 and 4. So let's shove this down closer to your event and up the ante a little bit. So again, this is to your email list that haven't signed up yet. And the title of this particular webinar is 4 tips to money-making copywriting. The problem is they don't know what to say when they're posting on content on social media. So here are 3 words that you should never use when you're writing copy. So again, this is just sort of the base frame of what the email is. Let's dive into what it actually looks like. And here you can see the copywriting guy. It's definite, the image definitely relates to what's happening here. This is a little heavier image based versus text. So this is one way you can go about doing it. And we're using the power words, which I'm going to talk to you about later on, but you do have this document in your download. So if you wanted to reference that, but the title is The Last Event Sold Out. So this is already infusing them with a little sense of urgency, like, maybe I want to, and FOMO really, like, oh my God, if the last event sold out, what am I going to do? So we name the problem, not sure how to write good social media copy, try these steps. And then we jump into the solution. You see how we mentioned the event first, and then we go into the problem. So we've flipped the order of things as we get closer to the event because we want to push the event a little bit more. And then we name the solution, avoid these 3 words, very super really. They're filler words. They can clutter up your copy. And then break up ideas with bullet points, which is ironically what I said earlier. And I want to call out that I didn't on the last one. Do you see how the buttons are bright blue and they sort of stand out against the kind of a little more natural muted colors that this brand has? The reason is it draws your eye to the call to action. That is your call to action. You want them to register. And if they have to sort of hunt for it, or if it blends into the email, it's less likely that they're going to click. If it pops and stands out, it's another sort of subconscious way that you're sort of telling them, hey, register for this event. Look, here's the button, and make it pop, make it big, make it super duper easy for them to register for your event and know exactly what it is you're wanting them to do. People want to be told what to do. If there's too many choices and they don't understand what's going on, you again lose them and break that trust. But if you're very clear with what you want them to do, and it's one call to action, register, they're more likely to follow through and do that. Okay, so that was to your audience that hasn't signed up for your event yet. And now we're moving over to the part of the audience that they have signed up. And you want to keep your attendees informed and interested and engaged and in it with you. And this is really key, and it can be super duper helpful to get people to show up to your event. And it's also just really kind of fun to interact with your audience. When I do this, every now and then I'll get somebody that responds and replies, and it's really nice to hear from them before I even meet them in the event. So it's important because you're nurturing your event. They want to feel special. They've already taken the action. They registered for your event. So make them feel kind of VIP and special, that they're in it and they're doing it, and you're sharing updates with them and you're letting them know what's happening. It feels really good to continue to be in the loop, and continue to know what's going on and receive the workbooks or things like that. And it also keeps your event top of mind. You know how many of us have signed up for events, and then all of a sudden we get a notification that this event is starting in 10 minutes. And you're like, what event is this that I signed up for? I've definitely done that. I don't know about you guys. And if you can continue to nurture them from them signing up to the day of the event, less likely they're going to be like, wait, I don't remember signing up for this event. What's happening here? I'm not going to show up. This is weird. It also, again, serves as a reminder. Oh yeah, that's right. I have that event coming up next week. I can't forget. I'm going to put it in my calendar, or whatever it might be. It's a really good time too to ask them, hey, do you want to bring a buddy? Do you want to forward to a friend, someone else that might be interested in this event? That can help kind of reach out to an audience that you're not reaching currently. Great opportunity to provide updates. Let them know, hey, we just added this piece to it. Like I did, I actually asked my audience if y'all wanted social media templates, because I was going back and forth. I didn't want to put everyone in a social media box of here's how to post. So I actually asked my audience, and I got responses of, yeah, we absolutely want to have templates for social media. So then I let my audience know, hey, I just added social media templates to this masterclass. Woo. And then sharing new news or add some value to it. It's all about kind of like starting a conversation with them. And, the whole idea is you want attendance to go up, and you want people to show up live. It's so much better because they get way much more value out of it by showing up live versus sitting there in their room watching the recording. And then again, you want to nurture those people that attended and follow up, send at least one email within 24 hours. It just feels good. It's my growing up, anytime I got a gift from, anyone, Christmas or my birthday or whatever, my mom made me write a thank you card. And I think it's just sort of embedded in my brain now. I have to say thank you in some form or fashion, or either a card or, so it just feels good though to be acknowledged for an effort that you did. And even if you can't get anything together, at least just say thank you for showing up and be done with it, something. But this is a good opportunity to share maybe links or resources you talked about that you had to go find, or you have to, you want to send the replay or anything like that. So I want to talk about this client, Hope, that I have. And she's an author. She's a community builder, really. She is a connector of people. And she has a lot of paid events happening, and sort of similar to April, actually. And one of them is recurring monthly membership enrollment. So at the top of the month, she enrolls new people, and people just continue to stay in there. So the idea is she's just building up this membership. And so she wanted to grow our audience, and she wanted to, we needed to nurture them as well. So then when we talk to them about these upcoming events, we can actually sell people into the event. So her audience is big, but what was happening was we kept just selling them into the event, and they were starting to not really listen. Honestly, they were just like, okay, enough's enough. Like, I get it. You're doing an event every month, blah, 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 and they started to not listen. So we needed to sort of change up what we were doing. And we got a social media strategy in place where we could begin to build out her social media following. So it's not just the same people she's talking to. So we needed to get on a schedule and be consistent about it. And then in between her events, we needed to nurture her audience, instead of feeling like we're just sharing and telling you about this event every month. In between, we got on a consistent schedule of sharing her personal struggles and things that she's facing and tools that she used to overcome those problem solutions. So this is a version of the problem solution, but it's a little more personal because that's what her audience is really leaning into and wanting to learn. So it's a little similar to what we did with Robin too, is we kind of found those main topics to focus on. And then we use those topics in her social media, and we use those topics in her email marketing. So, powerful quotes from her book, other author quotes that inspired her, and her own personal journey, and really being vulnerable in this space was the perfect kind of recipe to help nurture her audience and get them into registering and building up that membership each month. And I would say, we leaned into topics of nurture that related to the upcoming topics that were in the upcoming event. So we did link it in a way, and it wasn't a hard sell. Almost every time, actually, we had just a mention at the bottom of it, but people began to open up her emails. We didn't get any unsubscribes, even though we upped up how many emails we're sending out, right? Because we're now nurturing them in between the events. But unsubscribes didn't increase at all. We started building her email list because people started just emailing saying, I want on this list. Because yes, she's an author, so she can write a pretty beautiful story in her emails, but it's still about sharing and being open with your community about what she's doing. And we ended up, we looked at her numbers last year, and she had her net volume increased by 159.9%. It was kind of incredible. And her gross volume was up 70%. So it was that continuing to share the problem solution that linked to her events that the enrollment just kept going up for her. Okay, so we've got a question that I'll definitely address. Can you send the first email thanking for attending and replay additional resources the second? Yeah, definitely. If you want to just send a thank you, you can let them know. I would definitely let them know, hey, the replay's coming in the next day or so. Keep a lookout. And I'll also send that resource that I mentioned, or that we mentioned on the webinar. So I would tease it out and let them know it's coming. And instead of just a thank you for attending, they might be like, well, wait, where's the replay that she promised? Or where's that resource that Gail said? So you can totally split those apart, but definitely let them know. Yeah, teasing. Yeah, let them know what's coming. It's always good because then they'll be looking out for it if that is something that was important to them. Okay, so social media. Let's dive into social media. Oh yeah, Kristina, will you please review how that. So her initial launch of her program, of her membership, was really successful. But then what happened was it sort of stalemate, right? Because all we were doing was promoting. So new people weren't registering, and it just sort of was stale. But then a part of that 159% was this launch of this particular membership. But then as we're nurturing, it bumped up her membership each month when the new enrollments were happening. It just kept going up. So people weren't leaving. There was just more coming in. And in between these events, she's got 3 or 4 other programs happening too, that because we're nurturing this audience, and we release new programs that she's doing or new events that she has going on, people were already ready to sign up. They were already into it. They were already liking her and following, you know, they were a fan of Hope's. And so they just instinctually, you know, felt comfortable and felt really good about registering for her other events too. And one thing to know is we actually asked, you know, her audience, and we feel her audience out of what are they interested in? What more do they want to learn? Because she does support groups, but she started launching writing groups because we started realizing that a lot of the people following her were inspired by her because she's an author and wanted to learn from her because she's an author and she has training in how to teach people how to write. So she started doing writing for healing kind of events too. So it's really important to listen to what your audience is asking for as well, with a grain of salt, but still it's really important to hear what it is they want to hear from you. And you meet them there, and you meet them with the things that they want to learn from you too. So yeah, I hope that answered that. Thank you for the question. Okay, so social media, let's dive in. One thing I want to mention is you don't have to be on every platform. I know it can be overwhelming. There's like, 20 of them out there. Just pick the ones that your ideal attendee are going to be hanging out on and just stick with those. I've had clients where we looked at things and Twitter wasn't a thing for them and we just stopped. And I'm giving you permission right now to just close out ones that your ideal attendees aren't on. And it's okay. You don't have to be everything for everyone. You just want to be on a few, because if you don't have a social media team, it is so hard to handle, 10 different platforms. And I also want to emphasize, how I get this question so many times. So I'm just going to let you know, how many times do I post how many times you have the capacity to post consistently. So if that's 2 times a week, then that's 2 times a week. And that is totally fine. If it's 5 times a week, you can post Monday through Friday every day. And by post, I mean, you can throw a video up there. You can go live. You could do a reel. You could do whatever it might be, a video. That's fine. But just do what you have the capacity for to do consistently. So that's my little soapbox of social media and the question that I always get. Okay, so social media posts, I'm going to give you a little secret. They're just kind of tinier versions of your email, or they could be your email. Really, you're saying the same thing. This is where, I teach a class called Repurposing Your Content. I taught it, I think, through District Bliss, and I have some resources on my YouTube about it. But you can take the same information and just repurpose it onto social media. It's totally fine. And it actually is better because, again, it's that marketing rule of 7, where if they're hearing this over here and they're hearing it over here, but then they heard it again the week later, it's going to just make the whole communication that you're doing sing together, basically. And so it's okay to take the same thing and repurpose it into email. It's totally fine. There's a social media marketing info sheet that I have that I included. There's some templates, but be creative. You don't have to follow those templates. Take your brand voice, be you, have fun with it. Because if you feel like this is a chore and a pain to do, you're just not going to do it. So it really needs to, come from a fun place, come from a place of, finding what it is you want to share. Maybe it's inspirational quotes every week, then share an inspirational quote every week and have fun with it. Be engaging. And there's, it doesn't have to be, again, an image that you share. It can be a video. If it's easy for you to just pop on and do a quick live, do a quick live. Whatever's the easiest, lowest barrier to entry for you. So I'm going to take our old example that we had in the email, because I want to show you how you can kind of rejudge an email to make it as a post. And don't try to be perfect about it. And this is also a practice that it takes a little bit, right? It takes a little bit to get it and remember it. I sometimes forget, oh yeah, I should repost or repurpose that blog post that I just did because it was great. And there's other things in there I can share. So it's okay to stumble through this for right now. So let's kind of take this idea and, you could easily, let's say, break out one of those videos, right? You've got two, I think it says, yeah, click below for a 3-minute video on stretches. So we have 2 different yoga poses that you could do at your desk. I'd say break out one of those poses and share it as a quick video. You could do it, you could demonstrate it, you could have a client demonstrate it, or, and so that's like 2 posts right there, boom. Or you could do one picture of the pose as well. So you could do a video, and then the next week you could show the pose and talk about why that pose is key to helping your back be better, basically. And in your worksheet, there's actually a couple of examples that use this email, just so you can kind of see how you can take content out of a long form piece of content and break it apart into littler ones. But I want to highlight the second one here, because this is a testimonial. And we all know third-party testimonials are so key. They're so helpful when you are trying to showcase your expertise and what you do best. So this one is, thanks to Amy's 1-hour back strengthening yoga class, I can finally sleep through the night pain-free and wake up the next morning feeling refreshed, energized, and ready for my day. Register here for our next 1-hour back strengthening yoga class. So this is a perfect opportunity to, if you're doing a repeat class or even something similar, it doesn't have to be exactly connected to the event, but if it is in the same sort of thread as the event, this is like perfect to pull in and throw up a testimonial. And this can count, as one of your posts. Okay. So I'm almost to the end, and I will definitely have questions, but I want to talk about power words real quick. This worksheet is in that landing page, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, but I even reference this list all the time. I'm like, okay, how do I infuse some speed, some like scarcity into this? So pull some of these words out and start to use as you get closer and closer to the event. And this can help push someone maybe over the edge of like, oh, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? If they're thinking, oh my God, the price is going up next week. I mean, how many of us have fallen for that? I've fallen for that for sure. And that's okay. It's totally fine. It's like one of those things, final sale. If I'm trying to find like a amazing top and it's the final sale and the sale ends tomorrow, I'm going to probably buy it. So it works. And they can definitely turn from someone who's maybe on the tip of the, choice of maybe they don't know if they want to do it, to like, boom, getting them in there. Okay, so I want to pause for a second. I'll get to questions. Hopefully some of you guys have some questions. I'd love to answer them. But I also want to talk real quick about a free 5-day challenge that me and 2 other colleagues are doing. And it's literally all about events. And it's things that I don't have time for in this masterclass. We're covering event description, which is really, really important and can in turn help build out your event title. We're talking about ideal attendees, and there's a worksheet on what to interview and ask people, goal setting, all about networking and building connections, because it's truly, I've said it before. I think I calculated about 82% of my business comes from just networking and having those connections with people. So it's so valuable and key to building a business. And thank you, Erin. And then of course we'll talk about marketing your event, but now you guys are like experts at marketing your event. So you'll be able to teach others, I hope, in the free 5-day challenge. And then accessibility and inclusivity. Erin Perkins teaches this portion, and it blows my mind how many things, like tiny tweaks that you can do that opens up your event to a whole other audience that you might not think. needs it. Like closed captioning she's just continually blows my mind with all the tips and tricks that she offers up. It's so awesome. And this is free. It's a 5-day challenge. The first 2 days, we just kick it off with some videos and worksheets so you can kind of work on your own. And then we go live on Wednesday, which is pretty perfect. I think we go live on the networking and building connections one. And it's an opportunity, not just to learn a little more broader on the events, but you'll also meet a whole bunch of other people. You can share your event with other people and make those connections. So then when you do have an event going on, you've already got an audience that you can tap into. And then they're probably going to share some amazing events as well that you might be interested in. So, and then as a bonus for the CSE people, as Melissa mentioned, on the landing page, there's a button to get into my calendar. So go ahead. I invite you to take advantage of that button, get in my calendar, and you can ask me. I'm opening it up to ask me any marketing questions. It doesn't have to be around events. You can ask me anything. I've probably heard it before. You're not alone in feeling it. I know it. So go ahead and take that opportunity to get in my calendar. So register for the challenge. It's free, and book a call. And now I'm going to stop talking because I want to open it up to questions. And if people need to help, getting anything unblocked or whatever you might have, please let me know. Come off mute. Not all at once.
I have a question for you, Kristina.
Yeah.
What do you use for your mailings if, Gmail is like, don't do that. We're not going to let you email that many people all at once.
Yeah. Good question. So personal email, Gmail doesn't. So legally you're supposed to have a way for someone to opt out of your email. So by sending it through Gmail, there's not really an easy, you'll see them at all the bottom of an email is like opt out or unsubscribe, basically. So legally, that's why you're supposed to have it, not send it through Gmail. There's a ton of platforms out there, MailChimp, Constant Contact.
Right.
Yeah. And one that I personally use is Flowdesk. It's FLODESK. It's I was part of the beta, and a couple other people on this call were part of the beta, and they're really great at making really pretty emails. It's a little less restrictive than MailChimp.
Okay.
But they're not so good on the analytical side. Like analytics are not as robust, let's say, as MailChimp. But what's nice about Flowdesk is your audience can expand, but they're not going to charge you more just because you're getting more people on your list. Whereas Constant Contact and MailChimp definitely charge you as you get to be a bigger list. And I might have an affiliate code. I might be out, but I might have it. I can actually, I'll send a link to Flowdesk in the follow-up email. Let me write that down in case you want to check them out. I really like them, honestly, and their customer service is on it. MailChimp is actually, their customer service is really good too. It got better when they got bought out by, I can't remember the company they got bought out by, but they're actually now very responsive. A bunch of my clients are on MailChimp, and they actually will talk to me now and it's really wonderful. But yeah, Flowdesk is really great too. And you can get 50% off, I think, the first year with my affiliate code. So I'll share it. So yeah, really good question. There's a ton others out there. So you can always just do a search, a Google search, and most of them have those free trials. So you can kind of check it out and see what feels good. I will say Flowdesk might be a little more easy, like a shorter learning curve. MailChimp can be a little higher of a learning curve, but they have a lot of resources available online to kind of get you up to speed. You can always YouTube it, YouTube University.
Cool. Thank you so much. I'm on your calendar for that. I'm taking advantage of that. So I'm at this exact stage right now. So I'm just starting this process for the first time. So I plan to make really good use of that 30 minutes with you. So
Okay,
be
cool.
prepared. I want you to do some exercises beforehand. I want you to get that blood going.
I'll stretch.
Yeah.
I'll
gonna have-
hydrate.
Yeah, because I'm looking at all of this and I'm like, but I know when I start like beep, 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 I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
know?
you might get stuck. I know it can
Yeah.
happen for sure, especially the tech things, because there are a lot of choices and it can feel overwhelming, like where to start and how to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Do we have? I finished, we got about a half an hour, but that's cool. Oh, I did. Another question I get all the time is if you have a small audience, how do you gain a bigger one, right? Like, how do you reach people that aren't in your audience? Because you're just starting out and you maybe have 50 people on your email list and half of them are your mom and aunt and uncles. Thank you. Audience size it doesn't matter. If you're offering up valuable content and you're doing that problem solution, people they're very engaged. I've seen clients with giant lists and it's full of people that just aren't listening to them, don't care. It's not, they're not giving them anything that they care about. So they've stopped listening. And when you have an audience, and even if it's smaller and they're listening and they're responding, it's so much more valuable. So like I mentioned, that iOS update, it really is skewing the numbers of opens. So the way marketers are now starting to determine how successful a list is the engagement piece. Are they clicking through to look at that blog post that you sent them, or that event that you're talking about, or that video that you sent them? Are they replying to you within the email? That's really, really golden right there, is if you can get them to respond and reply to your emails. That's great, because now you're creating this two-way conversation. And the email gods actually deliver emails better when you get replies and responses and things like that. It actually like helps the back end, all that kind of fun stuff. It really should. Analytics are daunting sometimes, but they're so important. And and it's really, it's true. Like an open rate isn't what it used to be, especially with this like iOS update. It doesn't really count. And so if people are like, oh, what's your open? Well, it's like, well, my open is this, but my engagement is this. It's a lot better of a metric. Any tips for promoting your event internally or for a private event? Example, I have a speaking engagement next month in corporate and they promote. Wait, are you able to come off mute and explain, Erin? Is that?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
So hello, this has been great. I am doing my confidence workshop next month for a big corporation. So they're promoting it internally. It's not a mandatory event. And their past events, they could get between 1 and 500. So like the more time they have to promote me internally, the more people will show up. It's for like their women's leadership group. So, so I gave them my bio and my headshot and all that jazz. And I'm just thinking from my end, and I can give them a description of like what I have when people sign up for my workshop. Is there any other tips that you might have for them, for me to give them? Because it's on me, like the more information they have to promote it, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. I would treat this as though you were kind of selling to your audience. So offer them up a problem solution. So a little like piece of, like what is the problem when you don't have confidence? What happens when you lack confidence? Maybe you don't ask for that promotion, or you don't speak up for yourself, or you don't give your opinion in that meeting because you have no confidence. And then give like a little tiny answer, a solution to that. And that could be an email that they can share with the audience, especially you said it was like women, you can give a statistic of how many women, feel like they can't speak up in a room full of men, and that they also have something smart to share. So you could share statistics on, workplace environment as a woman and what that feels like. And that's going to really speak to their hearts, Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's great. Cause right now I was going to give her what I have right now on my Eventbrite, like a version of that for them. Cause it is confidence and it's also on video platforms, but this is deeper. That's great. Do
Yeah.
you think that it would be beneficial for me to have give her examples of an email sequence kind of thing as the event is approaching, like little tips along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you can, if they're willing to, email and send out for you on your behalf. Yeah, definitely. Share the event description so people know and they know what they're getting into, but reaching into that deeper sense is something that they can maybe send each week. Like you could get on a schedule and just every Monday say, hey, can you share this little tip this week? Here's, something I want to let them know about. And I'm sure that they're willing to share that.
Yeah.
And then I think it's such a hot topic right now, especially we're still all like all virtual hybrids, all that stuff. You could definitely find so many statistics online and lean into the problems that your audience, your attendees might be feeling in the moment.
Last question, do you have any favorite sites or go-to platforms that you find research, like statistics?
Google it, but make sure it's sourced. You can just, Google it. And if it's legit, they'll have like a link that says this was sourced from, I don't know, Mashable or whatever, like they'll name their source.
Yeah.
So just make
Fortune.
sure it's sourced.
Okay.
Yeah. Fortune.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
then you should be okay. Yeah. If they're just drawing up random statistics and not supporting it or providing a source, then that's it's a red flag. It's like, where did that come from? So yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, cool. Really good question. And also that's really exciting. Congratulations on that opportunity.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so can you share the software app you use to create the calendar? I actually built that out in Canva. So it wasn't an app of any kind. Although if I could code, that would be a really fun app to do. Yeah, I agree with Erin. It's 100% worth it. I love Canva. And question, how much longer of a runway would you need for a 4 to 5 hour workshop versus a 1 to 2 hour? So great question. A longer of an event is certainly more of a commitment and people need a little more warning and pushing to get into it and like time that they have to set aside. It's so easy to show up for a 45-minute workshop or a 1 hour workshop. So I would give yourself, I would give yourself even maybe like 2 or 3 weeks more to start talking about it and promoting it and getting, especially now because the world is opening up, people just, I think are just so busy all of a sudden. I don't know about you, but it feels like, holy moly, my social account, maybe I'm not used to having a social calendar, but I feel like I've committed to so many things. So yeah, it's really important to start that runway a lot longer and start to talk about it and get people into it and excited. Now, having that really long lead time, you probably don't have to send, at least the first few weeks, you don't have to be sending out like 3 social media posts or like an email a week. You can kind of give yourself a little bit of a breathing room. But as you get closer, uptick those posts and uptick the nurture emails and the emails too. All right. Yeah. Okay. Some Canva love. I know it's really great. I think my future, I want to build an app that we can just like plug and play with the event calendar, and it just like you enter information and then you just plug it in and it spits out the whole thing for you. How cool would that be? Take the guesswork and calendar work out of it. Who's an app developer I can talk to? This is so much fun. Everyone had such great, there you go. $1 million idea, right? Any other last minute questions? I can give you guys time back. If not, and I know I gave you so much content. I hope I didn't overwhelm you too much, but yeah. Okay. I got a thumbs up. That's great. Oh yeah, Faith, you had a question. Yeah.
It's actually not a question. It's actually a testimonial right here on this workshop, because I've been working with Kristina, and it's blowing my mind how everything is like coming together. I, you know, not only is she great at ideas and repurposing, but she's such a great strategist about how to go about this. And it's taking some time, but I'm feeling really confident that as we're working together, that everything is going to it's really branding me in a way I never thought that I would be.
Oh, thank you, Faith.
Thank
That's a
you.
really good point. Marketing is the long game, guys. It's not like a fast and furious, you do a lot of work in a month and then you're done with it. It does take time and consistency. And I think everyone wants a magic marketing pill, including myself. So if you ever find it, please send it on over, but it doesn't exist from what I can tell. And it's just, yeah, it's a strategy and being consistent with it, and also still having fun. My goal is for everyone to love marketing. I know that's like a giant goal, but if everyone can love a little bit of marketing, then I feel I feel good about it, because I think it is a little daunting for a lot of people, and it doesn't have to be. So yay, no overwhelm. I love it. This was so fun. Oh my gosh. I loved having a little more breathing room to really get into the meat of all the things. So I'll be sending out a replay. So if there was anything y'all missed that you're like, oh, what did you say? It'll be in there. And yeah, and I'll send out the Flow Desk link if anyone wants to check it out. I think I still have a couple of 50% off left. And thank you guys for committing and being here and being present for such a extended period of time. I know that's a lot to ask to take this amount of time after or out of the middle of the day. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, get in my calendar if you can, and let's solve some marketing stuff. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Great.